Hey everyone, it's Dan Young with the Dan Young Group at eXp Realty. I believe there's a right way and a wrong way to sell real estate. Selling it the wrong way, well, it can have catastrophic consequences to your checkbook, and nobody wants that. I also believe that not all agents are equally skilled. So we know that there are 115 processes involved in both the purchase and sale of a home, and one misstep can have catastrophic consequences. I'm here to tell you about a couple of those right now. I want to talk to you about the three words that I hear agents say very frequently that can absolutely crush your equity. And I want to give you the two questions to ask to make sure you can avoid those three words. Now, let me give you an example. This just happened recently, as a matter of fact. So I was in the process of representing a buyer. And in the buyer, we submitted a very strong offer. The terms were amazing. The price was far above ask. Everything looked very good on this. Had a conversation with the agent, as I like to do. I want to find out for my client, where are we in this process, so I can find the best way that we can possibly get our offer accepted in this very competitive environment. So we had a conversation, and during this conversation, I let the agent know, listen, we're submitting a very, very competitive offer here. If there's something we need to do to sweeten it, please let us know. In other words, I was politely saying there's more on the table if we need it, but the buyers are not going to just throw everything out there and see what sticks. So reasonable. However, during the process, I get an email and it said, sorry that your offer did not win. In fact, you lost by $5,000. $5,000 on over a $500,000 home. Not a big deal. Now, here's the issue I have with that. Why didn't the agent pick up the phone, take 30 seconds and say, hey, this is where we are. Can your clients beat that? Right? Essentially, they just left thousands of dollars on the table that their sellers could have had, but they didn't. And in this video, I'm going to explain why. First of all, I believe that there's really only one thing that in the process that an agent can control, and that is the demand for your home. Okay? So let's take a look at the basic economics of selling your home and what you're going to get. So if we look at the curve, basically we have supply, right? And here we have demand. Okay, a basic supply and demand curve. Nothing new about this. Basic economics. So supply, the number of houses that we have on the market, right? So what's the competition out there, and the demand is going to equate to how much money you get for your house. So how many houses are out there, how many buyers are out there, and how much you're going to get for your home. Now, I truly believe that the only thing that we have true control of as agents are the demand for your home. So that leads me to question number one. You should always ask any agent that you're interviewing, what exactly are you going to do to drive demand for my home? Now, there's going to be some natural demand, right? If you right now you undoubtedly have heard in the media that we are in a seller's market. So what exactly does that mean? So we have the multiple listing service where we put all of the listings, right? All of the homes for sale in this database called the multiple listing service. If we were to shut that off and not accept any new listings at the rate that they're selling, right? There's a certain rate that homes are going off the market. At that current rate, how long would the inventory last in the multiple listing service? That's where they come up with, you've heard the buyer, seller kind of markets. So as a rule, if you've got about 5 to 7 months of inventory, meaning it would take 5 to 7 months for all the homes in the MLS to be sold, that is kind of what we would refer to as a normal market, okay? So if we've got basically 7 plus, then we're in a buyer's market. When you're in a buyer's market, there's a lot of inventory, you've got a lot of choices, a lot of selection. And so because there's not a lot of demand, the price tends to go down for your home. We saw that especially in 2008 through 10, right? If you remember that time. So conversely, if you have, let's say, less than 5 months, this would be a seller's market, right? Which is where we are right now. There's not a lot of inventory in the market. As a matter of fact, in our local market, when I recently ran the numbers, we haven't been talking about this in matters of months in a while. We talk about it in the number of days. That's how few homes there are on the market right now. So In our local market here, it's about 3 days average, right? 3 days average, not 3 months, 3 days. So that means the market by itself is giving us quite a bit of demand, and there's low supply, and that's why we see the prices keep on going up, 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 up on homes, right? Makes sense so far? But now here's the thing: there is natural demand without a doubt, but that's not enough. Okay, that's simply not enough. So let me show you what I learned early on, and what a lot of agents practice when they're marketing their home, and I call it the 3 Ps. Okay, and first of all, put it in the MLS, place a sign in the yard, right? And number 3, pray it sells. Those are the 3 Ps, and I wish I were kidding, but this is what a lot of agents practice. And I have to admit that early on in my career, when I was an amateur and I didn't have a lot of skill sets, I practiced the 3 Ps as well. Because look, there is a lot of, as we mentioned, there is a lot of organic demand just by doing the 3 Ps. So they put it in the MLS, and the MLS opens it up to hundreds of different websites. It's a great tool to market a home. They put a sign in the yard, because traditionally about 25% of buyers came in via the sign. That is no longer true, but that was a stat for a long, long time. And then they pray it sells. And I'm all about prayer, so I still include all of these in my marketing plan. But in my estimation, if you're looking at the supply and demand graph, this is going to take you about right in here somewhere. That's a lot of demand left over. Now, the 4th P of this is really because it's a passive approach, right? Everything about this is passive. Just put it in the MLS, put a sign in the yard, pray it sells, and then you sit and wait. I believe in a very proactive approach in marketing a home, and that's why our homes sell fast and for top dollar with the least amount of hassle. Because there's a lot that goes on in this sector right in here. Okay, I'll give you an example. Some things you may never think about. Professional photography. It is a must anymore. You can no longer just take a picture with your iPhone and put it in the MLS, because according to the National Association of Realtors, more than 96% of home searches start on the MLS. You've been there, you've looked at it, you've gone to the different websites, and you've seen these listings. Some of them you look at it and you think, my gosh, I can't believe they even took that photo. They've got toilet lids up. It's just amazing that agents do not spend the money on professional photography. Whereas our group goes above and beyond, because we know the buyer's demands for your home, right? So we not only get professional photography, we get drone photography, video photography, floor plan, virtual tour. We want to make sure that every buyer out there has every resource to be able to see your home in the way that they want to see it. And that's a critical thing. We also proactively market to the neighborhood around you. And I'm not just talking about, you've gotten the just listed cards. Well, we go beyond the just listed cards. We actually send cards out that have messages that resonate well with buyers. Because here's what we know: 15% of the time when someone's moved into the home that you're selling, a neighbor knew them. So if we do not market heavily and consistently to those neighbors around your home, we're automatically taking that 15% out right away. Okay. So we proactively market to the neighborhoods. We have the professional photography, and we go beyond just your normal. The MLS does send your listing out to sites such as Realtor.com and a lot, Homes.com, a lot of the big ones. And it will send it out to all our competitor sites as well. We want to make sure that your listing is everywhere. But we even go beyond that. We do paid marketed advertising for your ad, because here's something we know that others don't. We know migration patterns. We have a database that actually shows us migration patterns. So we know where the buyers are coming from to move into your home. So wouldn't it make sense that if we know that buyers are up here, that we market there for your home? Yeah, that's right. That's called proactive and smart marketing. That's how we continue to drive more demand than anybody else. So those are just a few of the things that we do. And we also put it on Zillow, which a lot of agents don't like to put their listings, or a lot of brokerages don't put their listings on Zillow either. But we believe maximum exposure equals maximum demand equals the most you're going to get for your home. Okay. So the first question you're going to ask any agent is, what are you going to do to drive demand for our house? Are you going to be passive in the 3 Ps? Are you going to be proactive and go above and beyond? And by the way, this is only part of the 21 point marketing scenario that we'll show you. So if you want to check out what exactly that we will do to drive demand for your home, give us a shout. Go down at the bottom. There's a link to our calendar. Let's get together so we can show you exactly what we're doing. No cost, no obligation. We're not going to hound you, right? But at least you can find out exactly what it looks like. Because we've been working on this plan and refining it for over 25 years. Remember, I started with the 3 Ps, but since then I have figured out what doesn't work and what works, and we put it all into a plan. And we're continuously changing because the market dynamics are continuously changing. So we talked about driving demand for your home as number one. What's the second question? What are these 3 deadly words? So with our plan, the goal is that in any market, buyer market, seller market, doesn't matter. My goal is to get the 2 best buyers on planet Earth bidding against each other. So when that happens, you wind up with the absolute best offer rising to the top. And best offer, I'm not just talking about the most amount of money. I'm also talking about the best possible terms that fit your needs. Every seller has different needs. They need to know how to time their home for the move. They want to make sure that they're not homeless, right? And by the way, we have a solid track record. We don't like homeless home sellers. So we have a plan to make sure that you can move from point A to point B and without being inconvenienced. And that's really the third part of this. So we get you the highest price, the best terms, but with the least amount of inconvenience. Because when you do it the way we do it and get the most amount of demand and the bidding process that we use, you wind up getting the best offer at the top, which usually means better financing, fewer appraisal issues, all around a better deal. So here's the second question you need to ask your agent. And that is, what are your negotiation strategies? Okay? And if you want to get more specific, what are your negotiation strategies in a multiple offer situation? Because if their plan isn't to get you into multiple offers in the first place, that's a problem. Now, when you ask them this question, if you hear these 3 words, I want you to run, not walk. Run to the door, open it, and get you out of there, because I get them out of your house because they're about to cost you thousands, if not tens of thousands of dollars. Hear the 3 words when you say, hey, Mr. Agent, Mrs. Agent, what are you going to do to negotiate the highest price for my home? And if they say, well, we're going to tell everyone, bring me your highest and best offer. This is their strategy. Highest and best. Those are the 3 words that are going to kill you. Now, sometimes if they want to get really creative, they say, well, you know what? We're going to keep it open until Monday at 4 o'clock. That gives us time to do an open house, etc. We're going to tell everyone to have their highest and best offer to us by Monday at 4 o'clock. This is what that is. It is a passive way of negotiating, and it is a closed bid system. So put yourself in a buyer's shoes. Are you just going to go ahead and put out your highest number no matter what? Odds are very slim that they're going to do that, right? They're going to chance a little bit. Maybe there's a couple thousand left on the table. Now, would you want that couple $1,000s? I believe you would. So conversely, what we do is we say, okay, look, here's the deal. This is where we are. This is the price we have. Can you beat it? These are the terms we have. Can you beat it? And we proactively go through all of those offers, back and forth, back and forth. It is a daunting process. And I can understand why some agents don't want to do that. And you know what? It's not because they're lazy most of the time. It's because they lack the skills. They don't understand. Because let me tell you something. Up until about 7 years ago, this was my process. I own it. Like, this was my process. But now I realize that there's a better way to make sure that I get the 2 best buyers on planet Earth bidding against each other so my clients win every single time. Okay? So, do not fall for the highest and best. If you hear that, show them the door. And by the way, if you're an agent watching this, if you want to know how I do this, I'm an open book. Go ahead and give me a call or schedule an appointment with me, and I will teach you this skill, because I want every agent out there serving their client at the highest possible level. And there is an art to this, and if you don't do it right, it can be a challenge as well. So I want to make sure you have the right tools to service your client. So please feel free to give me a call. Now, I do want to bring one other point up with all of this, and there are a lot of folks out there that are thinking about selling their homes with for sale by owner, right? So we talked about Organic demand. There's plenty of demand out there, just in the market by itself, but we know now that's not enough. There are a lot of folks that think, you know what, maybe I'll sell my house for sell by owner. Let me show you the challenge with that. So when we're talking about maximum exposure equals the most amount of money, right? It's supply and demand, most amount of money for your house. So when you're doing it for sell by owner, you're just hitting this little tiny segment right here, right? You're not going out to the hundreds of websites that we have from the MLS. You certainly aren't doing the proactive approach that we offer. And furthermore, the buyers that do come to your house knocking, they're thinking, well, we're going to get a good deal here because there's no agent involved, right? So right off the bat, they're looking for the bargain. But the bottom line is, you're just looking at a tiny bit of demand when you're selling your home by owner. Whereas if you listed with an agent, you get a lot of demand. If you listed with us, you're going to get the absolute maximum demand, maximum exposure, and wind up with the most amount of money, the best possible terms, and the least amount of hassle, right? So if you're curious on the difference, we've got all the stats behind all of this as to why it works. Feel free to give us a shout or a call. This is Dan Young with the Dan Young Group at eXp Realty, reminding you that there is a right way and a wrong way to sell real estate. Not all agents are equally skilled, and doing it the wrong way can have catastrophic consequences to your equity. Hoo-yah.